potentially a postponement of this big summit taking place, Xi and Trump. Looks like it's in jeopardy for the latest. Let's bring in our chief North Asia correspondent, Stephen Engle, here in Hong Kong with us to talk us through will it or won't it?
You're asking me my opinion? Yeah, I don't think it will go forward at this point. I think it will be an absolute face-saving move by both sides, because already Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is saying it's a false narrative if you're believing that Donald Trump is going to be postponing this because he doesn't get an answer from Xi Jinping on whether he's going to help, whether the Chinese are going to help, safe passage in the Strait of Hormuz, or even potentially send warships of their own, which I think is a bit of a long shot, to say the least. But again, if that summit does go ahead, what are the deliverables going to be for the two sides? It will potentially set up for a failure for both sides, and that's not what they want. They're supposed to be signing, or at least cementing, this truce and promoting some, as Jameson Greer talked about, this new economic mechanism to basically formalize trade relations and economic relations. That's what he talked about after the Paris meeting with He Lifeng. But all cards are off the table if Donald Trump's number one goal right now is to get his allies, and he included China, on board to help calm the situation in the Straits of Hormuz. If he is on camera with Xi Jinping in Beijing and he asks Xi, are you going to support the peace efforts in the Strait of Hormuz? What's Xi Jinping going to say? He's going to say no, probably. Or if he doesn't say anything, it's not a win for Donald Trump. So I think
that's not a situation.
It's not a situation.
You want to risk.
Your handlers are not going to. Xi Jinping's handlers are not going to put him in that situation. And if Donald Trump is listening to his advisors, he's probably not going to put himself into that situation, because it's a no-win situation.
Yeah, and I guess the fact that that's such concern that this would be the elephant in the room if not addressed directly also maybe underscores just how many deliverables haven't been agreed on just yet either. So you mentioned this Paris meeting and you have an idea of a trade mechanism, but what else was discussed there, and would you say any sort of progress was made in Paris as well?
Well, I think that the fact that they're talking and they're trying to reach what Jameson Greer called a sort of U.S.-China Board of Trade, as I said, this mechanism. And also the Vice Commerce Minister, Li Changgang, he kind of put it even more vaguely. He said the two sides discussed the idea of establishing a working group. Oh, boy, that gets you excited. A working group that would examine promoting cooperation mechanisms for bilateral trade investment. So they have a concept of a plan, of an idea, right? So, yes, they're moving the ball forward to kind of formalize that truce that was reached in December. But again, you're absolutely right, Annabelle. The elephant in the room is the war in the Middle East, where China has vast investments and vast interests, obviously, as they much of their oil imports have to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. That would overshadow everything else at this point, 2.5 weeks out from the planned summit.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
No.
Sorry, I go on record. It's not